Welcome to 10 Minutes USA. I'm Chuck. Let's get started. For years, I subscribed to Hot Rod Magazine. Back in the 70s and through the mid 80s. And this issue is one of the issues I kept because it had a very good article in it by Smokey Yunick, famous race car builder, engine builder. And it really was interesting because back in 84, let's see, this was June of 1984, he developed a lot of people have heard of the vapor carburetor back in the 50s and 60s. It got ultra high mileage. Well, he took that concept and made it work, and made it work even better. And he put it on a Pontiac Fiero at the time, and basically he doubled the horsepower of the engine and doubled the mileage. It says here it was in a four-cylinder Pontiac Fiero, 151 cubic inch, the old Iron Duke engine, the old 2.5, which that was a good engine. And they were getting more than 50 miles per gallon, consistent, and 250 horsepower, and 230 foot-pounds of torque in this little car with this system. And it said here 0 to 60 in 6 seconds flat. It's pretty quick for a small four-cylinder back then. And I thought, man, it even says here, Smokey's new hot air engine. Next step. There he is. And I thought it was quite interesting. He worked out all the bugs. He said the only major change he had to make internally on the engine was a camshaft, a different grind, and mostly to make the engine more efficient at lower RPMs. That's what it sounded like. And he also added a small turbocharger, but he called it a homodulator. He said mainly it was for mixing the fuel-air mixture even better at a high temperature. Well, I think it was boosting too, from what I can see. But still, this system worked with a carburetor, no electronics, no computer controls. The average guy could fix it and work on it, and it worked. And we never seen this again. It was only in this article, in this one issue of Hot Rod, and never heard or seen again from this guy. And this guy's a famous guy. He built NASCAR race cars for years and engines. So what happened? I tried to find out. I couldn't find out anything. Did the oil companies come to him and shut him down and say, no, we can't have this? I don't know. But he said this could be adapted to any engine, from a four-cylinder to a V8. And here's some numbers. For a 350, just bolting the system onto an engine, and no electronic controls, no fuel injection, none of that baloney. A 350 Chevy, say, would get 720 horsepower and 40 to 50 miles per gallon. Why don't we have this? I don't know. On a big block, on a 454, you get 800 plus horsepower and 30 to 40 miles per gallon. What happened? Why wasn't this developed? If anybody knows, leave it in the comments and let me know, because I couldn't find anything. Like I said, this was only in this one issue, this one time, and it was never seen or heard from again. And now this guy, he did do a lot of cheating, from what I hear, building race cars back in the day. But he was an engineer, basically. He just developed and designed this thing, and it worked. And there was another system he developed. I remember it was in Hot Rod, because he was writing articles every month. He had a small, I think it was a Volkswagen Rabbit, and he put a small V-twin engine he developed in it, and the thing was getting, I think it was getting like 60 miles to the gallon, had plenty of power. That's the other thing. All this stuff was meeting emissions. Burning regular fuel. Who wouldn't want double the horsepower, double the mileage, and a simple system that the average Joe mechanic could fix or work on, even the shade tree mechanic, because it was non-electronic. No, we can't have that. See, no. Why? I don't know. But I thought it was quite interesting. This article I kept, or this issue, and this is the issue. This is the cover of the Hot Rod. I kept it all these years because I figured we were going to see this in development. You know, I figured, hey, the big three, they'd be interested. You know, still be able to make big cars that got good mileage. And this was a reliable system, from what he said. No problem. He worked on it for years and developed it. And this is just another thing that got pushed aside, just like the other guy, I forget his name, years ago, back in the 70s, developed a engine that ran on water. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it. And there's a documentary, I think it's still on YouTube. You can watch. He drove a car, I think it was a Volkswagen, powered by his system, on water, cross country. And later on, years later, when after it was announced what he had developed and everything, he died a mysterious death. Yeah. And nobody ever seen the paper. Everything disappeared. It's always the same story. The powers that be don't want this technology out there, because then they can't keep you a slave to their system. You know, heaven forbid somebody develops something that actually works and is good for the people, the planet, and pollution control and all that. And no, we can't have that. No. Big business, big oil, whatever, says no. But yeah, this has bugged me for years, ever since I read about it back in '84. I think I just moved to Florida then, from Rhode Island, and I thought that was pretty cool. I was a full-time auto mechanic then, and I said, man, maybe this is going to show up in the new Fords and Chevys and Chryslers. You know, maybe they're going to develop this. He could sell the technology, but it never heard or seen ever again. Only this one time. And I wished I knew the guy and I could have asked him, hey, what happened? But, you know, I didn't know him. But if anybody knows about this system he developed and what happened to it, put it in the comments. Let me know, and let the people know what happened if you have any information, you know. But it's just another thing that I think the powers that be don't want us doing things like this. I mean, just look what's going on now with like I said in the earlier video I made about electric cars. It's really the most inefficient way to transport people around. It really is. It's a waste of man hours and not technology, but waste of materials. And the batteries are made of materials that are very scarce, very expensive, and you destroy miles and miles and miles and miles of nice land to dig this stuff up, to use it. The poor people down in the poor countries that are hand digging this cobalt out of the ground, they're dying early deaths. It's terrible. For what? For a system that's not working and it will never work. I got nothing against electric cars, but it's not working. Why wasn't this used? Anyway, it's my 2 cents on this. And there's a lot of other systems that were developed years ago that just disappeared. You know, I remember the highest. If you look it up in the Guinness World Book of Records, I think the highest mileage per gallon for an automobile was 250 miles per gallon, and it was like in a 1955 or 57 Chevy with this exotic fuel system on it. What happened to that? Don't know. Anyway, I hear the timer. Time's up. See ya.